welcome back to another episode of The Follow-Up. I'm Eden, this is my dad Noah, and every week we sit on my bed and have a conversation about something we want to talk about. So this week we're going to talk about school clubs. And before we get into that, I can't believe it's been almost exactly 5 years since we filmed the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Filmed it in April, it came out June.
April of 2020, when we left New York City during the pandemic, went back to our hometown where Mom and I grew up and restarted this podcast together. So maybe next week we'll celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll celebrate that a little bit. But this has really become a beautiful time capsule of our lives. And I find myself watching old episodes, listening to old episodes when I'm on airplanes, just to hear your voice at different ages. Sometimes it's less about what we were even talking about, just to hear your voice and how it's changed over the years.
Speaking of that, we were watching some of the old voice memos you just happened to have.
Yeah, found some of those. Yeah, of you just singing on the toilet, or...
We don't have to mention that one. Okay, I was like 2.
But it has been... I get a lot of messages from people now, or phone calls of people who I'm just meeting, and they'll go on my LinkedIn page, and my most recent LinkedIn post, I think, is when I got my job and you interviewed me, and they say, "Oh, I love the podcast, this," and I said, "Well, thank you. So now you can subscribe, rate, and review."
Because you don't actually say that to her.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And the thing is, I hear a lot, "Oh, I love the podcast," and I'll say, "Oh yeah, like which one?" And then I can tell by what the answer is, and I always appreciate it, but I can tell by what the answer is of whether or not they just watched a clip. But if you really like the clip, then just subscribe, and then you can hear all of them, and they won't. And just as happy as you said that it made you in that moment, now you can have it every week.
And I remember that our first podcast was on COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then our
we did a few of those.
Yes, but that was our first one, and then our next one was on how to play the card game Crazy 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like 5.
Mm-hmm. Just be careful with the microphone there.
Yeah.
And then, some of those early ones, we interviewed Mom, we interviewed your kindergarten teacher. We haven't done many interviews.
We did? I forget that.
We did, talked about racism during the George Floyd protests.
Right.
All when you were 5 years old. So anyway, here we are.
This week, talking about school clubs.
Yeah, and this week was completely your topic of choice. And this is something that is different, being in a new school this year. So what's this all about?
So I'll give you the rundown on how clubs works. That makes sense. Work, not works. So you have clubs twice a year.
So hold on. We just talked about this, things that we're working on here.
I
know you didn't say like, I know. But I said it's not so you have clubs twice, whatever it is. It's so we have. You have.
So we have clubs twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
And twice a year we have the club's assembly. And that is where we can run, as students, a club with a friend or just by yourself, and it gets approved if it's good. It's like a suitable club idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a group slideshow, your club is presented. You give for 30 seconds, you just say, we said, this is our club. I'll tell you what that is later. Our club, blah, blah, blah. In blah, 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 we will do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, a club's form gets sent out, and you choose your top 5 choices. And if there's one you really, really want to be in, at the bottom, there's comments, and you write, "Oh, I really want to be in, art club. I'm really interested in this, and I think it would be so much fun." Maybe I'll get it. Probably you will. Maybe you won't. But you'll probably get one of your top 5.
Okay. question. When you said that you all have this clubs assembly twice a year, so clubs are a period during
During the
the week, during the day.
Every other community period, which is on Fridays.
So
for
every
45
other
minutes.
Friday during the day.
Yeah.
For how long?
45 minutes.
For 45 minutes. And this happens in middle school and in high school?
Yeah, but high school is different.
Okay. Can you give some examples of, not even saying what the club that you decided, so the club that you did earlier in the year, and then some other clubs, so that the audience can understand what we're talking about here.
The club in the beginning of the year was, it was Amigurumi Club.
Oh, whoa, that was a
Amigurumi Club. It's like
amigurumi.
it's crocheting small animals.
Okay.
It was okay.
Okay.
Wasn't my favorite.
what were
I figured out I don't really like that. But
yeah, well, you had the option, so
Yeah.
you gave it a shot and tried something new.
yeah.
That's what clubs can be all about. So what are some other options?
Well, this is I'll say from this semester because I don't really remember all of them. If you're interested in sports, there's basketball club, there's PE games club.
So at basketball club, is playing basketball or talking about basketball?
Playing,
Okay.
I think.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm not fully sure.
Okay. It's like
But-
an extra gym period. That's cool.
Then there's PE games club, which is pretty self-explanatory. There's, if you're into design, there's fashion design club, cartooning club, art club. There's music club.
That's awesome.
Which is like
and
design.
that's awesome. So students pitch the clubs, but then there's a faculty advisor for each
Yes.
one. Okay.
And
Continue.
like also in first trimester, there was New York Times game club. There was
All right. That's
there
cool.
was a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah. And my club that I'm running with my two friends, and then we have two advisors. We're running Carnival Games Club, which is a very fun club. We bought a bunch of carnival games, and we play.
what?
Like we have ring toss, a game where you have a bunch of cups set up and you have to bounce the ball in.
Ping pong ball?
Ping pong ball, but we use a dart ball
Okay.
from the dart thing. But that's not a dart. We have.
So this is like 5th grade beer pong?
Yeah, kind of. We don't call it that though.
No, obviously. It would never get approved.
We call it. There's like this game online, and it's on like that text game thing, and it's that game, but they call it cup pong.
Okay.
So that's what we call it. We don't really call it anything though.
Okay.
And then there's then the dart game. It's Velcro, and there's the Velcro balls, and we play for tickets. They're like the carnival tickets. It has like carnival scenes on them. It's so fun. And then there's prizes. And that's 45 minutes.
Cool. So as this is going on it's in a classroom?
Yeah.
Are you just talking, hanging out? It's
Yeah,
like
we're talking, hanging
It's like
out.
a nice reprieve from the day.
Yeah, definitely. So on
It's almost like
bye.
it's almost like an indoor recess situation.
kind of, but a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, I understand.
No one likes indoor recess.
Oh.
Well, it's okay. But then also this Friday, some of my friends went to the middle school office, got us
Went where?
the middle school office,
Mm-hmm.
got us a bunch of candy, which was fun for
That's
our club.
nice.
We got so much candy, and we got a ball, and we were playing volleyball with it.
In the classroom.
Yeah,
Probably not a good idea.
there were just a bunch of empty desks, and we were playing against the wall.
Okay.
And we were so close. We were hitting it hard.
Okay.
It was fun.
Cool.
And also, the teacher, our advisor, teaches in that room. And she
Oh.
didn't say anything. It's her room.
Okay.
So,
Makes me feel better.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on who knows what you're even going to be into or how you're going to expand your
Another
horizons?
club is like trending crafts and drama
Okay.
games. Sorry.
How you might expand your horizons or try something new. Would you want to run a club the next time or join a club the next time?
I'm not sure. It depends on what all my friends are doing, if we're running a club together, what sounds interesting. Yeah.
Did you know before you started your club what other clubs were going to be formed and that you didn't want to do those and you really just wanted to do this?
I knew what my friends' clubs were going to be.
Okay.
And I did want to do this club, just with my friends.
Yep.
I was in a club before.
How many people? What's the average amount of people in a club?
It depends. For teacher-run clubs, a lot more. For 7th and 8th graders, their clubs are a little more.
So I'm talking what,
But
like
it
10
depends.
people, or
It really depends on the club.
like there could be 15 people in a
It
club.
really depends on your space that you have. What club? Like there's a club being run by 10 5th grade boys. There's only 2 other people in that club, but that's already 12 people.
What's that club?
PE games. They all wanted to do sports, so the assistant head who runs of the middle
Sounds about
school,
right.
who runs clubs, said, okay, all 10 of you can just do PE games, and each one will run their session, their one. So that's how there's 12 people in that club, which is the biggest 5th grade run club.
Yeah, I would probably have done that in 5th grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you do? I'm trying to think. Could you do a book club?
You could, but I wouldn't do that.
Oh.
That's not something you want to do in school.
That's true.
During your fun clubs period. That's fun, but that's just not what
Yeah, I get it.
Did you have clubs in school?
No,
Like out.
but we did in elementary. Well, I shouldn't say that. In elementary school, there weren't student-run clubs, but in elementary school we had sports before school.
Yeah.
So we had leagues that you could start playing in 4th grade. That Sam Ryan's, our 4th grade teacher, ran. He ran the basketball league, and then there was a indoor soccer one that Mr. Hunter ran, and then in floor hockey that I think maybe Mr. Brown ran, and I think there was Newcomb at one point too. So you could do
What's
that.
that one again?
Newcomb's volleyball without hitting it.
Oh, right,
just
you
throw
catch
over.
it.
Yeah. So I think that was 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. But what was cool about those, what was great, it was before school, but then you were just all sweaty and kind of gross. But looking back on it, but
Ew.
we used to have a recap. I used to write it, and I think someone else had written it too. For hockey and then soccer, would write the recaps of the games almost in a school newspaper type format, which is pretty neat. And Sam Rhines would keep box scores for basketball games, which was awesome. And he would post the rosters and the standings outside his door. It's cool. And then in junior high, we had we had band and there was chess club, art club, all sorts of different.
Were those after school clubs?
School. It was all after school clubs. I remember doing TATA, which is Teens Against Drugs and Alcohol, and there was a huge club, and there was a TATA type Olympics at the end, which was kind of like camp, but there's nothing during the day, and I think it's kind of neat that you guys can step away, have this, and as long as you can get back and focus and do what you have to do, I think your school does a nice job of breaking up the day. Mm-hmm. If I was in 5th grade, I definitely would have done that. I would have maybe done like a sports talk club where you just talk about sports, or maybe even like a sports card club.
Or a sports watching club.
Well, you can't just watch sports, but you could bring in your sports cards and maybe trade, do something like that.
You would have to have like someone, if like you would have an advisor that would like know that, like you couldn't trade like a.
Well, yes, but you'd have to have other people in there with like interests.
Yeah.
Sure. Pretty cool. That's cool. I'm glad you guys are. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it and running it smoothly, and there haven't been any issues. That's good.
Do you wish you could run if you could run any club now? Let's say you were and you were a 5th grade student, but don't think from a 5th grader mind. Think from your mind. What club would you run?
The White House Club, and fix what's going on in the country.
That you could do as a 5th grader.
Do as a 5th grader.
Like a school club.
Yeah, I'd probably just play basketball.
Right now. If you could run a club right now.
As a 43-year-old?
Yes. But that would be okay for a 5th grader to run.
Be okay for a 5th grader to run.
Or a middle schooler.
Okay, so it's not like the parenting club or something
No.
like that. Okay, maybe tennis?
Oh, nice.
or sports card. Sports stock club.
I like
But
that.
yeah, maybe I would say, I would say tennis.
Nice.
Yeah. Be cool. Okay. Well, I love you.
Love you.
And I'm looking forward to, over the course of this month, celebrating
Yeah.
5 years and continuing to, maybe we'll just do a long celebration of this time capsule.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love you very much.
Love you.